Everyone, it's Natalie. So I got asked a question, which is the same question I get asked all the time, especially around the holiday seasons, is how you should feel or what you should do or how you should act when your spouse wants to go visit his parents on these, celebrations, celebrating the love you have for each other, celebrating life in general, just being happy, making new memories, talking about old memories, things like this, right? First off, it's extremely hurtful. If your if your partner is going to their parents' house during one of these happy times, they are forgetting about you and what makes you happy. So they might go over there for this happy celebration without you, but they're forgetting about your happy celebration, about how it's making you feel during the holidays, about what pain it's causing you, how you just wish for the holidays to be over so you don't have to suffer anymore. And holidays are supposed to be about celebrating happy times, showing love, buying gifts, all this wonderful thing to show someone how much you appreciate them, how much you love them. That's what holidays are about. But if your partner is going over to the person that has hurt you the most in life and showing them respect and love and just disgusting behavior, right? That's, to me, if your partner is going over to his parents' house knowing how bad it's hurting you, it's disgusting. Luckily, my husband has a backbone, and he knows, first off, not only will I not tolerate that, but most of all, he understands how hurtful that would be to not only me, but to my child. These times of celebrations should be spent with his family, his wife, his children, maybe other family members that aren't in this narcissistic cult, maybe your family members. See, what we ended up doing throughout the years, because we just could not get through to these people, is we adopted my family as the main family. So that way my husband could, still be happy, still celebrate, still have family, still feel included, welcomed, and blase. So because my husband knew not only did they hurt me, but they hurt him tremendously, that going over there was going to be uncomfortable. It was going to be tense. It wasn't going to be enjoyable. You know what I mean? We just kind of, and it wasn't even spoken. We just kind of decided for now on holidays and celebrations, we'll just spend it with my parents, my family. And so that's what we've been doing for many years. And it's worked out great. But, this is the thing. My husband still mopes around that whole month, especially around Christmas. And he still honestly, he's not mad at me. He's angry at the situation. He's disappointed in his parents. But he also knows if he left me during the holidays to go spend them with his parents, it would be extremely hurtful. And I think you have to get your partner to recognize the pain that you're in. I personally would not tolerate that. Look, I'm like the few women that left the comments. I'm like, okay, I'll accept that they have low contact or whatever. Doesn't mean I have to be, doesn't mean my child has to be in contact. And I'll accept it, and I'm going to leave it there, because if you push your husband to the point of, telling him what he can and can't do, like, no, you can't have a relationship with your parents, or no, well, all it does is push your husband away from you. It causes conflict in the marriage, because the thing you have to understand and accept is those are his parents. Regardless if you like them or not, he loves them. And so when it comes to him wanting to spend time during the holidays with them, you have to understand his whole childhood, his whole adolescence, his whole adulthood has been spent with these people during these celebrations, during the holidays. And honestly, it's also because the parents have indoctrinated them into believing that every holiday must be spent with them. They just automatically do it, right? So really, there's no rhyme or reason why they're doing it. They're just doing it because they've been indoctrinated to do it. But this is where it gets kind of complicated, because you have to slowly indoctrinate your partner from this, because they're enmeshed with their parent. You have to start going to marriage counseling and doing things that are going to wake your husband up to the fact that when he goes over to his parents' house, especially during a celebration, it is extremely hard on you. That it completely ruins or sours the mood that you're in, or the excitement you have for that holiday. It really just makes Christmas awful. And I think through counseling, the neutral party, the counselor, can help explain this perspective, your point of view, to your husband without any bias. Because if you go and try to explain that to them, they might come off and think that you're trying to control them. And you really don't want to get into that type of situation. They will start, it really can start ruining a marriage, because what happens is your husband feels alone, feels like they're caught in the middle of this, and they love you, they love them, and all our partner wants is for everyone to get along and for the family to grow and to be this big, beautiful, magical thing. But deep down, your partner, your husband or whoever, really knows how his parents are. And I think that they know that it. Okay, let me explain it like this. When they started dating you and bringing you over to the house, they were a nervous wreck because they knew exactly how their parents are. And because they knew how their parents were, they tried to hide it from you. They tried to cover it up so you wouldn't leave them, or so you wouldn't look at his family as dirtbags. Because, even though they're dirtbags, they still have grown up in this family loving their parents. And, sorry, one second. And the key point to this is that your parent is your parent, no matter what horrible things they do. And they raised you, they carried you in their body. They have done things for you that nobody else has done. And, there's some kind of sympathy there that our husbands have for our parents, and it makes them kind of cross their wires when it comes to respect and dignity and honoring you, because they want to honor them. They also want to honor you, but they're just kind of stuck in this situation where, honestly, I don't think they know what to do but go. I honestly think because they're so programmed into believing that this is the way they're supposed to act, that they just go and do it. And I think they do it in a way where they're not really even considering your feelings. And that's why I think it's important that you get through to your partner that when they go and spend these special days with their parents, the person that hurts you intentionally, that not only it hurts you, but it causes damage to your marriage. Because eventually what happens is you start having some type of resentment towards them, which also brings me to my point, like you also can't say, no, you can't do that, because then your partner will start resenting you. But there are lines, there's a boundary boundaries you should have with your partner. And if you feel as though your partner is crossing a boundary, you need to speak up. Because after all, it is your husband or wife, and the rules that you have in life apply to that couple. It's not about what his parents want. It's about what you want and what he wants. And so if this is going to hurt you or upset you to the point that it's going to ruin the whole holiday, I would have a serious conversation with your husband and tell him exactly how you feel, and if he wouldn't mind not going. It's important to really share your heart with your partner and let them know. But the crummy part is sometimes even after you do that, they still go, right? Even after you say, please don't go, it's going to hurt me, they still go. And I don't think that our husbands or whoever it is in your life is trying to intentionally hurt you. It's unintentional. But I think their blinders are on, so they just can't see what you see. They've normalized their parents' behaviors way before you even showed up. So what makes you think they're going to stop normalizing their parents' behaviors now? They're not. The only way to get through to your husband is through counseling, through education, through videos like mine, and having these serious conversations about how you feel. And I know personally, if my husband starts to trip up on, having this compassion and empathy for his parents, even though they're horrible, I calmly state a few things that they've done that absolutely destroyed both of us, and say, should you really have empathy for someone that intentionally hurt us? Because in a way, they treat their parents like little children. Like, yes, they did something bad, but I have to forgive them. But that's where it gets kind of deep into the psychology of this parentification that the parents, curse their children with. They make them feel like I don't know. It's really hard to explain. Like, they are supposed to be there no matter what. That they look at them as a responsible parent, I guess, if you want to say. And they do feel like that. They feel like they are responsible for their parent, when, in fact, the parent is responsible for their child. And if, when we talk about a grown-up, an adult, that ship has sailed. But because our husbands believe that their parents have somewhat of a control over them, they just go right along with whatever their parent wants. But it's important that this matter is spoken to your husband about, because if it is hurting you that bad, he should not be crossing that boundary. If he sees that it is causing you pain, a real man would not do that. Someone that is a united front with you, who respects your decisions, respects you, would never go out knowing that he is going to hurt his spouse if he goes there during a holiday. Because leaving your spouse on during the holiday month to go spend time and show people love and compassion only further abuses you. Because in some ways, it is like your partner telling his parents, it's okay that you treat so-and-so like this. I'll always forgive you. Don't worry about it. And it's not right. It's not right that your partner is going over to his parents' house and leaving you at home upset. It's not. And by your partner going over there, he is condoning the abuse. He's condoning it. And so if I were in your seat and you don't have a husband like mine, you're going to have to really, you have to try to wake your husband up. You do. You've got to talk to him about the things that his parents have done and how horrible they've been to you. And the problem too is that our husbands make excuses because that's all they do for their parent, is they make excuses for them. So even though we're sitting here hurting by their actions, our husbands are still trying to come up with a way to cover their parents' tracks. It's not right. And thank God my husband stopped doing that, honestly, because I called him out on it. And every time I called him out, we would talk about it. Not in like a hostile conversation or anything. I would just kind of be a smart ass or something. And I honestly think talking about these certain circumstances with him kind of woke him up to the fact that, yeah, your wife is in the right. Your parents are in the wrong. And if you have a stubborn husband who just is going to blatantly disrespect you that way, I don't know, man. You need to get in marriage counseling. Honestly, you do, because he's not seeing it. Because if he saw it, he would be like my husband and say, nope. My husband went no contact for a few years. But what happened was we had both blocked their numbers. Well, I didn't know, but my husband unblocked it because he said in case there's an emergency with his family. And what happened was his mom kept sending health scares, knowing damn well that nothing, no medical emergencies were happening. So it manipulated my husband's mind into thinking, well, they are 70, they might die any time now, they're having these health scares. And so he asked me if he could go low contact, and it did hurt, but I really sat and thought about it for like a month, and then I started to kind of see it from his point of view, that they're his parents. What can I do about it? I personally don't have to be involved with them. My children don't have to be involved with them. If he chooses to have low contact, I don't want him to resent me. I don't want him to be moping around depressed and upset like I was, because now finally, now that I want no contact, I'm not all upset all the time, but he was. And so you have to find this delicate balance between the two. And so if your husband wants really low contact, fine, whatever, let him have it. Just ask him not to talk to you about it. If your in-laws ask your spouse anything about you, there are just key phrases that he needs to stick to. He doesn't need to go into detail about your life. Just, she's doing good, thank you for asking. Or if your my children are doing good, thank you for asking. You don't go and tell them that your child's in Boy Scouts, or that you joined a club, or you're doing this, whatever it is. It's none of their business. So just simple little phrases. It is such a hard situation to be in, because it was hard on me to see my husband for those 2 years he was in no contact. I've been no contact 3, but he's been no contact 2. It was just really hard to see him sad and angry and upset. Now it's gotten, he's back to normal now that you can at least text them and stuff. But like, if your partner is going over there during celebrations and holidays and things, that's really unacceptable. It's really unacceptable, because he's leaving you and your children, or maybe you don't have children, but leaving his family to go spend time with another family that intentionally hurts his wife. And I think this is where you, as a wife, have to step in and just be like, no. Like, they've destroyed enough in my life. I want the holidays to be sacred and special and, making new memories and new traditions at my house. I don't want you making those memories and traditions at their house. They don't deserve it. I'm your wife. I'm your wife. And you have to really lay it on them about how you feel. And don't come off angry or anything or hostile. Have that heart-to-heart talk. That connection that you two have is there for a reason. It's to communicate. And you got to let your spouse know that you feel like he is betraying you, like he is disrespecting you when he is spending holidays with his parents without you. And bring up the fact, like, don't you see that I'm no contact? Don't you see that they have done so much damage, so much hurt to the point that as their daughter-in-law, I don't want anything to do with them? Don't you see that, hun? Like, how did we get here? And have him answer it. Why are we here in this place? Because it wasn't me who caused all this heartache. It was your parents causing this heartache. So why should they be rewarded for hurting your wife? Because that's basically what they're doing, is they are rewarding their parents' behavior. And it's unacceptable. And I know, like, it may not be, like, on the actual Christmas day or on Thanksgiving. Maybe it is. It might be a day before or a week before or whatever. It's still unacceptable. It's still unacceptable. Because the whole time they're over there, all you can do is have anxiety and depression and concern. Because they're still working the system with your husband. They're still trying to get you out of the picture. And so it's hard to allow your spouse to go over to a place that they have are intentionally trying to separate you to. And especially if you don't have a spouse with a backbone, because they might just go right along with it. And so that causes a lot of anxiety and friction within your relationship, because it just constantly feels like you're fighting his parents for that hand in marriage, or for your family, your husband and your children. And that's not fair to you, because you didn't sign up to go to war with somebody to be married. That wasn't what you signed up for. What you signed up for was to join a family and grow as a family in that family. To have children within that family. To grow the love and compassion that a family should show you. But because you're not getting that, it stings, man. It hurts. And, I can tell you what I'd personally do, and I think I already did in this video, but no. I would not allow that if it hurts that much. If it's hurting you that much, your partner should have enough respect for you not to go. That's the truth. They should have enough respect for you. But if they still go, to me that speaks volumes. But also, in some ways, you have to understand that these people have been brainwashed. So it's like, it's a hard position to be in, because your husband's brainwashed and has normalized his family. But at the same time, it hurts you. It hurts your marriage. It makes you angry. And in some ways, your partner is showing you that he's disrespecting you. I don't know. Whatever y'all think, that's fine. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't allow it if it hurts that bad. Maybe they can go over there after the holidays. Or maybe they could go at the beginning of December, nowhere near Christmas. But see, that's the thing. Even if they go a week before, the first week in Christmas, they're still going and celebrating that. That's the tricky part. And so, you know, if your partner has this big desire to have a Christmas with his family, I mean, I guess you could let him go, but nowhere near Christmas. Nowhere near Christmas. You definitely should not be sitting alone at home on Christmas or on Thanksgiving. For sure. Hell no. It's kind of, you know, it's a double-edged sword because you want to make your partner happy. So you're like, okay, I guess you can go. But then you're sitting at home sad. But I know, me personally, if my husband is like, hey, I want to go spend Christmas with my family the first week of December, I'd be like, no. You're not going to ruin my holiday with that. No way. That's what I personally would say. I don't know what you would do, but that's what I would do. Peace, love, and harmony. Bye, guys.